All right, welcome. We are here with Mark Michael, who is CEO, president, and co-founder of DevHub. Thanks for joining us, Mark. How are you?
Good. Thank you, Patricia.
So tell me a little bit about your journey to DevHub. You have been at this for a while.
Today, DevHub is the largest tech platform for franchise brands to build their websites. What's unique about that is as you think about the franchise model, it's spread out typically, let's just call it nationally or internationally with a lot of locations. So it's very unique in the controls that corporate wants, but then also local wants when it comes to their websites. So that is what DevHub does. It's websites for franchise brands.
How did you first identify the need for this?
Again, I'm trying my hardest not to go so far back in time. So real quick for the audience, if you want to know the full in-depth history, I'm very keen on documenting our history because I never wanted anyone to be like, oh, look, they just built a tech company and flipped it. We're so far past flipping it at this point. So devhub.com/history has the entire history of the company. Again, footnotes of history, but nonetheless documents all the pivots and mistakes and sometimes hirings and firings, all on there because again, I wanted as transparent as we can be to not glorify entrepreneurship. Like again, what does it look like in the modern sense outside of the 1% of the Facebooks of the world? We identified, so forever, call it 16 of our 18 years, we were what's considered a white label platform, which is someone takes our tech, puts their name on it, and they power brands. So brands could be retail brands, healthcare brands, again, franchise brands. And we did that for years. Pandemic hit, and those same partners who were reselling DevHub, the other parts of what they sold got kind of shut off. And the only thing that stood the test of time was the website. And so we were like, well, why are we going through partners when obviously there's a huge value and need from a brand to not only just have a website, but then be able to modify it quickly. And again, across a wide breadth of locations, geographies. And we were like, that was like the first aha. Second aha was we ended up, we acquired a company out of New York City that gave us a bunch of retail brands. That's the Nikes, the Chanels, the Saks, but also unique in the sense of, again, multi-location, similar-ish to franchise. We were like, oh my God, the value that they place on a website, which at that time was for every dollar a customer would spend online, they would spend $4 if you can get them in store. So how do you get somebody online, offline? And we're like, oh, we know how to do that. Booking appointments. That was the biggest one, actually, was booking appointments, get them to come in. Or events was another big one.
Mm-hmm.
And so as we looked between retail and franchise, what we saw was, again, retail, in some cases, the bigger brands are pretty big, right? You think about a Nike, even a Chanel is pretty big. The decision-making process is a lot slower. I hate to say that. It's probably a year. And in franchise, it could be a really big brand, AKA call it 1,000 locations, 400 locations to 1,000. And the marketing team is pretty small in a lot of cases, like small being like sub 20, sub 10. And so we know when we're talking to the CMO and in a lot of cases, even the CEO, founder still, it's almost, I hate to say it, easier to get in contact with than trying to sell through a very big org. And so we basically were like, you know what, let's nail franchise before we go into any other market. And so that's one of the reasons we settled on franchise, besides loving the people and the model of franchise in general.
But there are certain, at least from my experience, there are certain challenges with franchise, dealing with franchisees in the different, so oftentimes not a unified, so there's a corporate marketing arm, but of course you got your franchisees who own one or many franchises, and they come to you with different skill sets and kind of points of view. How do you deal with that kind of differences of really skill sets? I just think, years back, trying to get a local franchisee to understand how to claim their location in Google and doing those sorts of things. So how have you brought that to an ease?
Honestly, very good question. Here's the thing. So we will only work with a franchise brand who is, I don't know, again, I would say somewhat sophisticated in managing that communication with franchisees. At the same time, we're not selling what we call like bottom up, we're selling top down. So again, corporate, and again, sometimes alongside their franchise advisory council is deciding we're going to use DevHub. So we're rolling it out corporate all the way to the franchisees. The other parts of the marketing stack, the listings, claiming the profile, review management, paid, advanced SEO, content generation, those all plug into DevHub, but are separate vendors. So it's a different relationship with their franchisees. Our basically two promises to a franchise brand and their franchisees is one, once you have a website with DevHub, you never have to think about it again because it's not just a service, it's actually the technology. So again, AI stuff, like we've just never had to worry. You don't, and not us, but them now too, I guess. Never have to worry about what the future state of a website is. But once you control your website, you control your digital marketing stack, i.e. the listings people, the reviews people, the agency who's running paid. And you're able to hold them more accountable to work alongside franchisees to make sure that they do claim that listing. And it is optimized for and all the things. And so when they're not performing, because you control your website as a franchise brand, you don't also have to talk to your agency about the website. And so again, what has happened, it's still happening. It's what we battle against the most. Our biggest competitor, essentially our agencies who are doing a lot for, let's say, a franchise brand. They're doing their website, they're doing their pay, they're doing their SEO, they're doing their listings, they're doing their reviews, they're doing their social. And again, the website's just sold as, we'll build your website or we'll include it even. Well, the problem with that is, again, you bought a website as a service. You didn't buy it as a technology. So most people are building on a WordPress. And what happens is once the site's launched, there's a million things that a franchise brand as a whole or ease want to do that now an agency still has to manage. But again, like they don't have that level of talent to manage it alongside of running paid, alongside of running listings, alongside of running social. And so we basically tell franchise brands, until you control your website, you don't control your digital marketing.
I mean, it's 100% true. And you're right. Agencies who are overextending themselves to be, good at some things, master of none sort of deal. Like if you came out of the paid world and you decide technology is something that you can just pick up, I would say, no, you can't just pick it up. I don't tell my dentist I can do my own root canals just because I read about it or something.
It's a very hard, I don't know. Again, the brands who get it, they're moving fast.
Yeah.
The ones who want to debate it, it's like, honestly, it's our fault right now. We still haven't found the right value messaging, right? Because some people are like, all of this stuff with SEO is broken. It's like, okay, great, we'll fix all of it, because it's the platform will fix it anyway. But it's like, but then the CEO or founder is like, well, that's not that important to us. I don't know. Anyway, yes. Exactly. You're right.
So you mentioned AI in passing. How is that changing, influencing, coming into play with your platform?
So with our tech specifically, we look at it twofold. Readability. So again, we think the website will be the truth of a franchise, it doesn't matter, of the web, right? For any brand that exists I don't care if it's a government website or a franchise website, or a franchisee website or a small business website, the website is still the source of truth. The data set that these, let's just call them large language models that feed into AI, whatever, and the chat bots, whatever, will rely on for, again, that source of truth of what's happening with the brand. Now, will it always be graphical and like a person's going to go and click on a form and da-da-da? That's yet to be determined. We just want DevHub to be the standard for what that future state is. And that's how we built the tech. So one, the readability of AI. The second would be the management of websites in an AI world. So that and again, I'm actually not the technical one. My co-founder, he's led our R&D for 18 years. He's been my business partner since we were 17. I'm 43. The reason I get to talk so bullish about a lot of this is because him and his team have always been able to back it up. And so it's been great. But the idea that a person like me, the whole point that setup was not technically proficient, to be able to be like, go update the Texas region of our websites with this new promo. So being able to use AI in that chat interface to be able to actually manage websites. So those are the two ways. One, compatibility, readability, integration wise. Second is management, making everyone's life easier instead of logging into a drag and drop editor or reading HTML, CSS. It's just Mark is able to be like, he's our CMO, he's our marketing manager, he's someone on the team. Go update the Texas region, go update the Northeast because there was a storm and anyone has roof damage. blah, blah, blah. Go update this block. It can be done in that way. So both of those exist today at DevHub.
So are you saying on that last point, because readability, I get 100%, and there's going to be an ongoing debate, and it's those of us who have maybe been doing this for a long time that still have this concept that your content and your readability are still going to win the day over any little trick you do or any, different site map format that you can come up with. It's still all about that. But on the second point, are you suggesting that if I am managing a website and I go to an AI agent that's part of the platform and ask it to do an update, it'll update and publish that out?
Yes.
That's amazing.
It exists today. It's already, there's a YouTube video on it. We've already let customers in on it.
When we developed AI, when we think about AI, we think of it as employee, an intern, that needs oversight, right? So there's always that level of oversight that's still necessary. It's not like, you can't, you still have to check up after it, right? Because
100%.
how many times, I might go in and say, oh, I'm trying to do this complicated regex statement to do some tagging in GTM. And the answer that comes back is 100% wrong. It's like 5 years old. And so it's like, no, that's actually not the right. I personally am a business analyst, and I do a lot of our strategy for software development, and then tagging and tracking and analytics.
For who?
For Avantia.
And that's what Avantia does? It's like a custom software development shop?
Yep.
Yeah, because you just sounded really smart. And I'm like, no one really knows anything. Like, I don't even know if half the audience will even know what you just said,
Oh, really?
And so
I
I was
knew
just
you
like, wait a
would.
minute. This isn't just like a fluff piece. This is like, oh wow, this is somebody that's like actually doing the thing.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, thank you for that. All right, let's let it rip. Let's go. All right, cool.
But no, I was like so fun to talk about the topic because I am in the weeds with it, right?
Yeah, you are. That's been good.
But yeah, so that's why I was so interested in part of what you were saying about the AI being able to update the website, publish the edit or whatever, put it through a workflow, and it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Same page.
So what are you most excited about the next 5 years?
I've always wanted to build a really big company with very few people. Right. And unfortunately, I think because I do come from tech, startup, raising money, VC world, like the metric has always been like how many people work for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's always been like I hate to say vanity metric, where in some cases, like even strangers you meet, like, well, how big is your company? And it's always judged on like how many people work there. And I think with AI that essentially we can build a really big company with under 100 people.
Easily.
And maybe even under 50.
Yeah.
And obviously everyone keeps saying there'll be a one-person company that'll be $1 billion within the next 5 years because of AI. So I am really excited, I guess, about that mindset, that practicality of, oh my God, we can actually do it now. And it's very weird because some of our people who've been with us for a while, they're seeing some of the innovation that we're doing. And then they're like, well, what does this mean for us? I'm like, look, we're already small. We're under 100 people anyway. This is just going to make you more efficient. Like, we're not trying to get rid of you. Like, we're good. Like, if we don't have to hire, we can now 10x, 4x people's capacity, like making their life easier. We're set, And so again, I've had to calm those fears a couple of times now. But because of what you know how we're trying to build for the future and this and that, and so we'll see. I'm excited about that part. Like, oh wow, it like levels the playing field, I think.
Yeah. Well, this has been a really great conversation, and it's been very far reaching. I'm just going to stop the recording now, but I still want to chat a little bit.
All right. Yeah, go.
Okay.
I'm good.